Hi Boopsies, welcome back to another ASMR session. It's me, Tony Bomboni, and hopefully you can see these lights clearly. It hopefully doesn't wash out from the green screen behind me. Thought it would make a cool effect, you know. Today I'm going to be showing you my simple spiritual metaphysical practices, tools, and a couple of very good banishing spells that actually works if you believe in it, so stay tuned. Okay, so I have literally, some of these things you can't even see, they're on the other half of the table, but this half, you can see some of a bunch of things I use in my practices, and a lot of this I don't really use every single day because there's really no point. Example, if you were to do a banishing spell every day, like you would have to keep coming up with things you would need to banish, and it's not necessary to sage every day or charge your crystals every day, or do a tarot reading every day. So I just want to show you the basis overall summary of everything I do that kind of works for me and some of my belief system. So if you don't believe in this stuff, well then just take it with a pinch of salt, okay? Alright, so I guess I'll go in the order of what is here so I can clear some space out. So I'll work my way up. So one of the first things I like doing every few weeks, I used to do it every week, and it just got to be too much. With the smell, it gets in the clothes, it gets in the walls, so that's why I like using it outside for the most part. But it's sage. And this is a getting pretty old bag of sage sticks. Some dried leaves here and there. I'm not going to open this because it's going to make a mess, but I'll get like a small stick of this stuff and burn, that's usually more than enough. I have still a chunk of it here. You see, kind of not even twined together, they're just kind of stuck together until I separate them apart. But typically sage is made of growing the sage plant, and then you extract the leaves from the soil and you dry them. And there's a certain dryness that they require to be used for what would be called smudging. And it has to be a certain amount of moisture and dryness in the leaves itself. It can't be too wet, it can't be too dry, because sage is, every plant is wet, every plant, every living being has water in it. So it just needs just a tad dash of moisture to really be effective to properly burn. If it's too dry, it doesn't do that. I noticed that when you don't keep these sealed and fresh, they don't burn that well when they're too dry. They just don't burn. Just as a regular sage plant would really not burn the right way, and if it does, it just smells like smoke. It doesn't work. So there's a certain property sage holds. Here's an actual sage stick, by the way, with the twine wrapped around it. And this is a very interesting, I think this is a different type of sage than I'm used to, but this is more of a drier one. And I noticed it is drier because it doesn't burn as well. And it's how do I say? You can tell, you feel it. Like this feels more moist. Not that it's bad. I just think perhaps the company either tried it too long, or maybe it's because it's been staying out forever. So that's kind of a warning, I have to say, when you burn sage. So you do want to keep it fresh. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, sage, when you burn it, is also going to dispel any parasite bacteria in the air. It's very good for just clearing the air of negative energies and even removing spirits from the home. Believe it or not, it can assist with, if your place is haunted, you know, not really extreme cases where you can spray all the holy water you want, they just won't dispel. So it's just very useful for using when you enter into a new home, okay, a new environment. I always do that. It's mandatory, even if it's a new house. I'm just the believer in that, because the construction workers were there, their energy is there, their blood, sweat, and tears went into building the home. So you just want to get rid of that damp, stale energy. Okay, so also you can do this around yourself when you're feeling kind of down. You're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so heavy, I'm so burdened. Like yesterday, oh my gosh, the weather was so gloomy and cloudy, and I was just like, okay, I need some sage. Okay. Especially when I'm around too many people for too long, it really gets on my nerves. And so, yeah. That's just me personally. These are some sacred cleansing negative energy incense sticks, which I've shown before as well many times. This is Palo Santo by Mark Bajerski, okay? And these have traces of moldavite in them. They are an incense stick to be treated as such. I'm running really low. I think this is my last box. All right, I'm finally running out, but it was worth it. These will last you a while, and you don't really need to use them that often. These are special to me. You know, I only use them when I really feel I need it, and to get rid of just that energy that's been just lurking around for weeks and months, you know. I actually might use this when I'm done with this video. But it says it has Wuracoa and myrrh to it. So derived from plants picked by the Peruvian people of the Andes. Powerful cleansing sticks to clear away negative and dirty energy from in and around your body. With each box, 1 hour of pure energy healing to ensure sticks hold the most powerful cleansing energy in the world. Break a small piece, light one end, allow the sacred smoke to cover your body 3 to 5 minutes. So it's 10 times more powerful than a sage smudging will do for you. However, sage is for the home, your surroundings, and yourself. Palo Santo is just used for yourself. You can't really sage the home with it. It doesn't work. It just works to blend in with your energy from your body, and it will get rid of 10 times as much of the stuff you don't need from your being compared to sage. So it's very, very effective. I love it. I love the smell. It has a musky scent to it, kind of like a Cuban cigar. It just smells divine, and I can't explain. I feel it, the warmth of it, and it like pushing my energy up and down when I channel it across me. And I just like when I use it, I like to go like this, up my arms, wrap it around my head a few times, you know, down the legs, across the back as much as I can reach. And I do the same with sage, and it just creates a kind of protective barrier layer around your whole body and makes you feel relaxed as you inhale the aromas, you know. With any smoke, you never want to go like directly near it, but to be mindful of breathing it in here and there and wafting it around. And I know the bugs and the birds outside don't really like this smell. They always yell at me and want to go after me when I light them up. But not them. I meant the sage and the Palo Santo. Oh my gosh. So I just do this outside because the smell is intense. The Palo Santo will definitely lurk in your home for a long time to come if you're not careful. So definitely have open window, open doors. I forgot to mention this, but even when you sage the home, I use a feather, okay? It can be any feather. Abalone shell. And abalone wood stand. Just for keeping it. I don't use the stand just for decoration. But I hold this, put the sage in the shell, light it up, and I waft. When I'm done with it, the shell has holes in it, so I just put the feather there without lighting it on fire, of course. You have to be mindful of this. But it's very nice to use this instead of risking burning down your home because you were irresponsibly just not careful and used the sage in one hand and the feather in the other, and all of a sudden the ash and the embers flow down onto your carpet and cause chaos. So always use something. It can be a pot, it can be a shell, it can be, I really don't care what. Maybe cardboard if it's not too flammable. Something, okay? And if you do this outside, it really does no damage. Because the wind's going to blow it around anyway, and it usually doesn't stay lit. It's very rare. So as long as you're careful and smart about it, you'll be fine. Just keep the door open, keep the windows open, keep the fans on. I even like to turn the lights on. I chant my sort of banishing spell chants, but also kind of protective chants. I say a bunch of positive words like keep the positive energy of this home, remove any negative spirits and entities from entering here, and you just do your own little thing. You go clockwise around the home in every doorway, closet, bathroom, hallway, bedroom, any room, okay? Just go around, and the lights I keep on because I feel like darkness just creates that kind of energy to, like, if you're trying to banish something, imagine you keep your bedroom closet dark and you don't go in there with the sage, but you go everywhere else. That spirit or energy is kind of gonna find its way to your closet and stay there. So I keep everything on, every fan on, every light on, every window open, every door open. And I say, get out of here. And by the time you go fully clockwise around the home, they usually leave your doorway. They can't stand it. So, very important tip to keep in mind. Now moving on to some incense. I also use Himalayan rose and many other incenses. I have sandalwood. I have, I think, Nakchampa. I have the chakra incenses. I have frankincense. I have, I think, myrrh too. And the one I just showed, of course, the Palo Santo. And this is just more for meditation, mindfulness kind of thing. I used to be obsessed with them. I would always go to the mall just to buy some of these. And there's how one looks like. I've used them plenty before. This has a nice, soft aroma. And I like these outside while I meditate in the sunlight. My favorite practice of meditation, however, is indoors because it's just quieter. I feel like I can focus more. I don't become distracted by too many aromas, and I can just tune into my own voice. in my higher self. So this is just an extra. I used to use these a lot when I was kind of depressed and they kind of helped me keep my mind off things and keep my mindfulness inward rather than sort of seeking for answers where they don't belong, is the right way to say it. And so the smell in the home also is nice. It is best to use this in the home because it will really make your home smell nicer, but it is very intense. Be mindful of fire alarms. Keep it by an open window. And I say this because once I just used this in a closed room and no window open, and I don't know how the alarm didn't go off, but I could not get the smell out for 1 month. Okay, and so you definitely want to be mindful. Keep a fan nearby, blowing out towards the window. And it may help even get some of that stale energy out, but you just light the tip, blow it out, place it on a incense holder. Don't leave it untended and out of reach of children and infants, like everything else I just demonstrated. So keep that in mind. There's so many scents to choose from. They say there's different scents for different purposes, like anxiety removal and help with sleep and all this stuff. Just have an open mind. Incense may also have powders they put to attract things that you want in your life. There are these sticks, and they're the ones that are very miniature. They look like pine cones, or little pinhead cones, how do I say? And they burn very briefly, but they're also just as powerful and effective. So just use what you will and enjoy the process. The ones that we have, I think, are like frankincense. They look like little coarse salt crystals, and but chunkier and pink, kind of like Himalayan salt. And you light those up, and they're just as powerful. Priests come to your home usually to burn that. I know Greek people use that a lot. The Orthodox religion, they do that as well. So there's different forms of incense. And you can even light different candles for different purposes, blessing candles, and put all kind of incense powder oils on them or whatever. So it's all the same thing, but today I'm not going to show the candle. Next, I am going to show some tarot cards. These are just one of my many decks I have right now. This is my favorite one, though, the Light and Shadow Tarot, because I handpicked this from a metaphysical shop, one of my favorite places in downtown Sarasota. And shout out to them. Haven't been there in a while. I just passed by there the other day, but basically all the cards are in black and white. Very simple, easy for me to understand. And I don't know, they just drew me in, These were my first deck I purchased after many years of losing my last deck of cards. And I just have such wonderful illustrations here. I like the simple drawings, and they have just enough information for me to understand. I love the size of them. I love a big deck of cards. And I don't know, they just kind of stick together. Easy to shuffle. They're just wonderful, and they smell nice. They have a particular printed smell that I like. But the message comes through very quickly, easily, effectively, efficiently when I read with these. And people have been asking me, do tarot readings. I would actually add that on to my services if enough people wanted, which they do. On my tarot channel, many people requested it. And I would love to fulfill those requests. However, with school starting very soon, I don't know if I will be able to have as much time for that. But I will see, perhaps later down the line. I love tarot, don't get me wrong, but my use of it, or per se drawing feeling to it, has kind of diminished with a little bit of time, and life getting in the way, I kind of don't have time to do them that much, so I haven't been posting there. I have stopped with the full moons readings and all that. And I may get back to it someday when I do have more time, or just some random day where which I highly doubt, but sitting doing nothing. But I just leave it there for now. If someone perhaps needed to hear a message from one of my pick a card readings, that's the best I could do for now. I don't know why anyone would want to go back to see a January full moon reading when it's long past. So those are perhaps not the ones that people will choose to watch. But the pick a card is eternal, so it will eternally look into what you're going through, depending on the card or cards you pick. So yeah, basically these are not just fortune tellers. They're more for entertainment purposes, but they can tap into whatever you are going through and determine what you need solving, what you need to have resolved, what you need to focus on, what you need to work on. You know, we all need to work and do on something. So these kind of just look into that. I think more and more people are understanding that, but there's still the few who just, I guess, choose to be ignorant about tarot and think it's just, I don't know, work of the devil or something, or just like, oh, they're afraid to see into their future. But really, it's not that. It's more foreseeing what's already going on and giving advice for the future, you know? What else am I missing? There's the major, there's the minor arcana. You can just look into, like the Four of Cups, for example, are the minor, and let's say the Princess of Swords is the major. So usually it'll be portrayed by prince, princess, queen, king, and then the 1 through 9 of cups, pentacles, swords, and wands. Alright, so that's to summarize it up for you. So I kind of used to obsess over tarot readings, like every little answer I want to know. I look into tarot, but I've kind of laid that to rest. But I do sometimes use it, mostly for personal use. Like if a friend or family member needs to know something, I'll just pull them out real quick and look into what's going on. Alright, so one of the next practices, which I'm going to make a whole dedicated video on very, very soon, are crystals. And I use crystals during my meditations, okay? And I just made a blog post on my website about how to meditate properly, how to connect to source properly through meditation, and sort of advice on the breath work and all that stuff. This is a crystal. I'm just going to sneak peek. It is lepidolite, and it looks like purple amethyst, but it's not. It's a palm crystal. It's shaped like this, so you could just put it in the palm, and I already feel it taking effect. This is one of the many I've recently purchased for that crystal metaphysical shop video. You'll see it very soon. And it just takes the worry away, removes the anxiety and the stress. And I just meditated with it this morning, and I just feel the calming energy of it instantly. And I feel it moving as I shift it from palm to palm. I feel the warmth in my hands as I move it through. It's just very nice, but these are like batteries, so when you use them up, you need to charge them, and one way to charge them is to pour salt in them. So I like coarse sea salt. I'm running low because I just charged all mine a couple days ago. So I had to order more, but this is really good stuff. This is, I think, a Croatian one, the Solana Pag. Paska morska so krupna, Juliana kuchinska. So this is like 1 kilogram of it. And I love that it comes in a carton like this. Nothing plastic, nothing fake. Real authentic sea salt. They run out of stock fast. If you want to get some, I do recommend you go to some other online shops. So I usually keep all of them in a bowl and I just pour as much salt as I can to cover them all. So I'll just demonstrate. That's more than enough for just one crystal, but you don't have to, in a literal sense, do this. Like I said, you can even charge them in the sunlight, in the moonlight, or just simply set the intent to charge them. Okay? Like you can grab the crystal and say, I now set the intent to charge you. Boom. And that's it. Okay? You can also charge this under cold running water. But the best and most effective way to get rid of any net energies from the crystals and to charge them is under a bunch of salt. And what I even do with salt is I use them in my baths, because it just really is as effective, I think, as sage, if not even better, for getting rid of toxins from the body. And I also sprinkle some piles of salt in all 4 corners of the room when I do my Reiki sessions for you guys, just to clear the energy. I use selenite a lot. I can even use selenite to wave as a wand over the crystals to charge them. It's just as effective to tap on them and just... And then you need to charge the selenite as well. So that's one of those crystals I more frequently have to charge. I usually just set it by the windowsill and under the sunlight and say I set the intent to charge, and that's it. And I wave my hands over it a bit to reaffirm it. So I'm going to save this salt because we're about to be doing something else with it, but this is just one of the crystals you're going to be seeing up close very soon. Spoiler alert. Alright. We're going to move on to the banishing spells, okay? And for this one, you need salt, black pepper, cayenne pepper, and a little bit of burnt sage. So the black pepper was optional, but I just recently discovered that it's a nice add-on to this spell. So what you do is you get a little bit of each in the palm of your hand. So you do need to put this somewhere first. So I'll just use this bowl for now, which I was about to show. But I'm going to get some of the burnt sage and just put it in there. Charcoal is another thing you should use, but I don't have that right now on me. But this is just as good. If you are missing one ingredient, you can just replace it with the other. So normally this would consist of the cayenne, the charcoal, the burnt sage, and the salt, but instead I replace with black pepper. It's just as good. So we're just gonna sprinkle as much of this in there, as possible. Even mix some of the regular sage. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, the twine is starting to come out. But look how dark my finger became from that. So that's an enormous amount. That's more than enough that you need. Just a little pile, okay? And whatever sage leaves kind of crumbled around, you can just pop them in there. It doesn't matter. Now I'm going to sprinkle the cayenne. This is specifically ground cayenne red pepper. So it has traces of it in there. Be careful with your eyes and be careful to breathe it in, but I like putting plenty in there. The more you put, the more effective. This stuff is strong, so be careful. Ah, yes. Ooh, you even smell it right away. And with every time you do that, just mix it in. I'll use this. You can even crush it. Alright. Great. Now I get the black pepper and grind some. Spicier, the better. So let's mix. Perfect. Ooh, that's very potent. And then you get some salt, so I'll use this salt here. Not to waste any. Alright. Now the point of a banishing spell is to get rid of a situation you don't desire, a feeling you don't want to lurk around anymore, or even on people, but I think doing on people is pushing it. I do like to believe they're meant to be in your life for a certain reason at a time. So to push it away is just to kind of go against your path. But mix this all together. Banishing spells are usually fast, easy. These are one of the ones that take a bit of time. Okay, and once they're evenly coated all throughout, you take it in the palm of your hand. Again, being mindful of the eyes and the nose. And that's how it looks pretty much. It's just going to look like a bunch of ground herbs. So what you do is you set the intent of what you don't desire anymore, and you use the opposite dominant hand to twist and turn the herbs counterclockwise, because you want to reverse the situation. You want to banish it. And channel the thought through your hand into the herbs. Crush it, twist it, turn it counterclockwise, reversing the origin. And then you just quickly say, I banish you from my life for good. And then with one strong blow, you blow it away from the home, out into the field somewhere, and then it's gone. Okay. So, I'm going to leave it on this towel. I'm not going to blow it away. There's another very good banishing spell I've used in a video before, and I will link that video in the description box below. But one very quick, simple, easy one to do is getting a pen and paper, writing down what you no longer desire, such as the ink's running low, but I wrote anxiety, stress, fear, worry, which many of us do hold deep within. Don't waste so much paper. Don't burn all the paper. Just get rip a slim piece of it, write it down in the paper, and then you burn it. And then when you burn it, you put the ashes in a bowl, and then you toss it out, just like you did with the herbs, okay? Very simple. Alright, it kind of creates a mental, visual stimulus for you to kind of affirm that it's no longer part of your life, it's gone for good. So as part of my routine with saging, walking home, I also put a little bit of blessing oil on the base of each door and window and chant something. Okay. So blessing oil you can just get from anywhere. You just put your fingertip on the base of it and reverse it. And you have just enough lubricant there on your fingertip to indent in the doorway and the windowsill. And with oils, you can just warm the oil with your fingertip and, close your eyes and just chant whatever you feel like. Protect this home, just simple stuff. So that's what I like to do, just a little extra added touch. Alright, so speaking of the bowl, I also, as you know, use chakra bowls, meditation bowls, and it kind of creates harmony. The sound waves, like I mentioned earlier, with the sage also gets rid of anything lurking. These entities that are of low vibration don't like frequencies, high-pitched sounds. It bothers them, it repels them, it gets rid of them. So you just... and you walk around the home with this and just creating sound, or even as simple as playing music around the home. In every corner of the home uplifts the energy, and silence is truly eerie, It's no wonder these spirits like to stay around in haunted houses because they're so quiet. So this just also helps align this internal sound waves of your body and create healing. Some say this even helps with cancer patients and just creates the vibration of health in the body. And I've even done this with tuning forks plenty of times on this channel, and there's something that resonates within a sound wave which does create the energy of healing in the body, in every cell. So your cells are always listening. They even see as we do in a different manner. And my eyes are like this because I swear the cayenne is so strong I feel it from here. So I'm going to be very careful to clean this up later, but it's just a nice addition to what I already do. So the last thing I hardly use, but just thought I'd include it. And I do wonder if I am missing something of all the things I've shown today, but these are rune stones, and it's very simple. Again, showed these boys many times before. You just pick them out of the bag, and I think the ancient Vikings used this or something, but I think there's about 25 stones in here. And you just pick at random when you wake up each morning and see how your day's going to go, so you can pick something along the lines of this, which is the symbol. It's like two V's crossing like this, and that's Ger, which is the cycle of the year evolution. So there's a new change, something that'll come up, and that's actually very funny because I actually moved in this home 1 year ago to yesterday, so it's kind of funny that I picked that at random, but they're very accurate. It's very strange how accurate these are to my day. Sometimes I'll pick one and I'll be like, that doesn't resonate at all, and then by the end of the day I'll be like, oh my god, that totally resonated with me. Sometimes it creeps me out though, and I stopped doing it because I used to think okay, now my day is going based on what the room just said, and if I don't pick anything, I don't have to think on it, and I feel like I'm attracting it because now I believe that the stone I picked is going to be how my day is, and I don't know, you just don't have to have fear. But regardless, thank you for joining me on this wonderful journey. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't yet, and I guess I'll include more sort of things I do in another video. This is pretty much it. Beyond what I am going to show in that crystal shop video, which is going to talk a lot more about crystals that I haven't done here. And be sure to check out my other spiritual videos on my spiritual ASMR playlist. And I will see you poopsies in the next one. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to do for your metaphysical practices. Leave a like, share, and add this to your playlist and share it on your social media.